Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the second generation of the Mercedes GLA, and right in front what we have is of course the 220d 4MATIC, the top of the line GLA, which is available in India. Straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle. A little bit of an effort, but there you see, gets hydraulic struts. The engine is a bit dirty. There's the Mercedes logo on the motor, and you can hear a bit of the engine as well because of course this is a diesel. Straight away let's actually close this and let me show you the attention to detail on this car, which is absolutely stunning. First and foremost, you get this lovely grille, with these pins which look actually very nice indeed. Massive Mercedes logo, and there's another Mercedes logo right there. You got a lot of chrome on the car, but there are no front parking sensors and there's no front camera, although there seems to be a provision for the same, funnily enough. There is no fog lamp as such. Yeah, there are provisions for the parking sensors as well. But you see aerodynamics on the bumper, of course, that's really very nice. Now the lights are really very nice and bright. It says LED high performance on the inside. It says Mercedes-Benz here on the side, and there's the indicator as well. The light design is stunning to say the least, and the attention to detail is so good. I'll show you that. There's Mercedes logo on the wiper as well. There you see, there's a Mercedes logo here as well. Of course, on both the wipers, the Mercedes logo. So the car looks very nice indeed, but kind of looks small somehow. It doesn't feel like it's 4.4 meters in terms of length, but it is. Yeah, from the side you can see it is actually chin to pinto. The wheel size happens to be 19 inches, and because this is the AMG line, it gets AMG wheels. The size of the tires 235/50/19s. It says Mercedes-Benz here on the brake caliper as well. You get this black body cladding running throughout the car, which looks pretty nice. But there's a small problem. There are no request sensors on any of the doors, so you have to always remove the key to unlock the car. Chrome lining around the mirrors, around the windows, and here you have got a puddle lamp. Here there's a puddle lamp when you unlock the car. It actually comes. Indicator on the outside rear view mirror, and the roof gets the gloss black finishing. You get roof rails which don't seem functional, and the roof is kind of slanting a bit, which is fine because this car is bigger than before. In fact, the wheelbase is also bigger. Here you see Mercedes-Benz logo right there. So attention detail is massively awesome on this car. At the rear, I love the lights. These LED lights look really very nice indeed, and right now the indicators are on, which also looks absolutely stunning. Now you know what is a good part here, that the exhausts on this car are, yes, these are the exhausts, not fake. It's actually joining. No, it is actually fake. The real exhaust is on the side, but you can feel a bit coming from here also, but it's mostly fake. Yeah, let's remove our fingers of truth. Yeah, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Oh no, oh no, oh no. My expectations have gone for a toss. Same here. There's no exhaust pipe. The exhaust pipe is only on that side. Mercedes-Benz does fake exhaust. It shouldn't be doing it. You get this sort of a diffuser treatment. Chrome here on the bumper, but the bumper is finished in black to reduce the visual bulk. And then fingers of truth are back again because, yeah, this is fake again. Let's do one thing. Let's open the boot, which means I just have to press a button here, and there the boot opens. It gets an electric tailgate, but the spare wheel position is such now that the boot is all over the place at the moment. So the spare wheel actually goes below, but it's a space saver, of course. 145/80/90 is the size of the tire. 19 actually, not 90, and it is not an alloy, but you know what, it occupies a lot of the boot as such. You get a light placement here along with a hook. Hook is on both the sides, and of course the seats can be reclined in 60/40 format, which we will do once we get ahead. You get a parcel shelf, and there's a light placement here. You can just press this button and there the boot closes. That's as easy as it gets. In fact, even with the key you can press this button to open the boot. That's again a very nice touch indeed. So let's do one thing. Let's get inside and see if it has more space. But I'll show you one other thing. This Mercedes logo on the wipers, fantastic attention to detail, and you also get a high mounted stop lamp. Did you notice one thing? Yes, here you see light is normal. Here the fog lamp is on. It says GLA 220d and 4MATIC because this is 4-wheel drive for the win. Let's open the doors. The doors don't open as much as you would wish. I mean, the doors are actually on smaller side. You get the red stitching, which is nice, and of course this beautiful finishing here as well. The door pockets are decent size. The seats are actually quite comfortable, a little hard in certain places, without a doubt. Okay, now in order to recline the seat, you press this button, and there, yeah, one second, I need to do it with a little bit more josh. You can recline it in 60/40 format just to increase the boot carrying capacity, and that's not all. Okay, I need to use both my hands, so I'm just going to keep the camera down for a bit. Now here's another thing. Okay, you can actually move the seat ahead and behind, but it's so hard now. That's what she said. You have to do it with both hands, and I have just done it with both hands. You see, now there's no space as such. I can actually push it back with one. Yeah, there you see. So I don't understand the real function of doing it, because honestly there is no third row, but then I think it's to improve the boot carrying capacity. Okay, there is a hump in the center. There is an ashtray with 2 USB-C charging sockets, and there is storage space here as well. Rear AC vents, scooped out seat back, magazine holder, good amount of knee room. Actually, you can put your foot right below the front seat, so good amount of knee room and leg room for sure, without a doubt. And the thigh support is also quite decent. Headroom is actually quite impressive. I like it. And there is a hook along with a handle and light placement here. Seat belts get the height adjust function too, and I love this treatment. This is very nicely done. Red stitching, and I mean they've replicated the same that side as well. And because there is a sunroof here, you can call it a panoramic roof, because this doesn't open, but you can remove the sun blind, and that brings in a lot of light as well. You see there are 3 adjustable headrests with red stitching, but unfortunately the hump is so much that only 2 people can actually sit in comfortably. Isofix child seat mounts here below the center armrest. I mean in the center armrest there are twin cup holders as well, so that's also a very practical touch. Seats are very nice and comfy, a little bit hard in certain areas, but you won't complain much about it. Okay, the dashboard design looks really nice. Let's do one thing, let's get to the front. Now there is some good news, because Mercedes-Benz has loaded this car with a ton of features. The other thing which I really miss is, of course, no request sensor, which is a glaring omission. I don't want to remove the key in 2021 to unlock the doors. Okay, door pockets are big enough. These are the controls for the power window. This is for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. Press this button and there you can close the mirrors. Now it gets electric adjust both for the driver as well as the co-passenger. With memory seats, you can save up to 3 people settings, and you can lock and unlock the door like this. There's a proper dead pedal there. This is the electric parking brake. These are the controls for the headlights, and this is for the rear fog, and this is for the headlight leveler, I believe. Yeah, this is for the headlight leveler. Meanwhile, the finishing here is really very nice. The knurled finishing. Under thigh support is never an issue, because you can just open it like that. Front seats also very comfortable, very nice. Red stitching in many places, which also feels very premium. I mean, it feels very nice. Okay, door shut with a proper thud. Let's turn off the air conditioning. Okay, now blower setting 1, then you have to press it a couple of more times to actually shut it. Here you see the same adjustment for the co-driver seat using electric adjust. The glove box doesn't open in one go. You have to actually push it and open. This could have been slightly easier. There's a compartment on the top, and there's a light as well, and it's a decent sized glove box, but some hard plastics can be felt, and this is a beautiful finish. So they've got this sort of a aluminium finish in certain areas, which actually looks quite nice and impressive as well. Below the front center armrest, there's storage space along with 2 USB-C charging sockets too, and this is of no use actually, just so that you can put your hand here. Okay, and it gets this touchpad, which is not to my liking, to be honest. It's not that intuitive as the command rotary dial which is there in previous Mercedes cars. This is the control to select the drive mode. This is to get into the car mode, and this is the start button. You can assign it to anything you like. This is to get into navigation, radio and telephone, and this is for the volume controller. So easy stuff, nothing complicated. This is finished in piano black, which is actually a fingerprint magnet. Let's open this. Twin cup holders. There's actually a space to keep your key right there. There's a USB-C charging socket which actually activates Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but unfortunately they are not wireless. Okay, there is a 12-volt charging socket, and there is a wireless charging pad. The position of it is such that you can actually not see if your phone is being charged at the moment. That's kind of disappointing. These are the controls for the air conditioning. You've got 3 AC vents, and they work beautifully well. I mean, okay, every time you turn them on and off, and the click, yeah, it's very reassuring how they work. Very nice. In fact, here you get a mirror along with the light. Same is the case here as well, a mirror along with the light. It's got connected car tech. This is a mic in both the places. You get a handle on the driver's side as well. And you get these beautiful screens which are absolutely sensational, really very nice, really very intuitive. I love them. Okay, but before we get to that, this is obviously the auto dimming inside your view mirror. There's a sunroof. Press this button there, and the sunroof actually opens. Okay, it's a little slow in terms of operation. Could have been a little bit more faster or slicker, but then it opens decent size, gets in a lot of air inside as well. There's actually a sunglass holder right there. Yeah, you can see the sunglass holder, and these are actually the buttons for the lights and for the Mercedes Me. Yeah, connected car tech is there, so there's the SOS button as well. Alright, let's get into the screen. First and foremost, this is a screen which you've seen in a lot of Mercedes cars. Yeah, a ton of Mercedes cars. It's a very slick screen. I love the way the screen works. Yeah, super duper awesome. You get everything. Like, it's very easy to browse the screen because there's so much information on offer here. And yeah, I'm going to get into navigation right away because navigation is beautifully done. It's so nice. I love the screen. So of course, MBUX for the win. Just browse it using touch. You don't have to use anything else, honestly, but it's got voice commands as well. Now, when you get into comfort, it gets something known as seat kinetics, basically seat comfort. Sort of a massage function here. Okay, it's not as good as a regular massage, but it moves the seat a little bit, like you can see in the blue areas, to give you a better feeling when you're driving the car or sitting co-passenger. You get 64 colors for the ambient lighting. The ambient lighting is fantastic. The way they have the LED bars everywhere, it's amazing. You can design multicolor if you so wish. You get into information, you can actually see how much power and torque is being consumed in real time as well. That's so awesome. Okay, you can go full screen if you so wish. It's showing how much power and how much gas you're getting into or how much brake you're applying. All this is so well done. Consumption, basically engine data, how much power and torque is being used. So this is a fantastic system, but we just get into settings because this is where most of the information is there. Now this is for DSR. You know what is DSR? Is obviously for downhill assist, and this is a button which actually activates car wash mode. That's pretty cool, but you don't have those traditional car washes in India which we have abroad. Okay, you get into assistant, active brake assist. Attention assist basically tells you that it should be on sensitive or standard. It tells you if you're feeling sleepy that you should probably take a coffee, and you can get into the usual bits. Okay, you get into rear view camera and auto reversing camera, open camera cover. So what we're going to do, we're going to open the camera cover right now so that I can show you the reverse parking camera. Oh my god, it's got really windy. So here you see the camera is actually hidden, and right now it's come out. So that again is a very nice touch. So attention to detail on the car is massive. Press this button to actually open the boot if you so wish. Listen to the thud. Oh my god, that's a proper thud when you turn it off. So all the usual bits we actually see in all the Mercedes cars. And styles and display, there are so many of them. Okay, you can decide which one you want. Now I can do it here or there, either which way it works the same thing. Let's get into classic right now, and there it activates classic. Classic is something which you've seen so many times. Actually doing it on this screen is better, because if I do it from this screen now, it gets back to the regular menu and then I have to browse through the full menu to actually change it. So it's got multiple styles, and there's something known as, let me browse this. Okay, you can get into ambient lighting adjustment, but I'll show this to you on this side itself. So here I press this home button and there all the options come. Styles and display, there's something known as understated. Now understated means not much information can be seen. It's very basic. There's a clock, there's a speedometer. Now the best thing is I don't have to go inside the menu. I can just press this back button, and as soon as I press the back button, there it gets back to the regular menu. Now whatever information I can see on the left, I can see on the right as well. Everything here. And the best part is, the best thing I like is I can actually get onto any of the three menus and browse through it like this and get a lot more information. So it's like an information overload. Okay. Okay, there's an inclinometer right there. It is so freaking loaded. I get on the right side and just see, there is so much information. I never want to use a left screen ever in my life because the right one itself is so loaded. Just look at the system, like how much power and torque is being consumed on which wheel with the 4MATIC system. That is also shown. What else you want in life? And you can get into a full screen display as well. This one is kind of weird because it shows, it removes all the information and it is kind of showing you basic stuff, but the best thing is it's showing you that how much distance is left for you to get out of fuel. Wow, what a system. Now these are actually the controls for the cruise control and to browse through this system, and this is for to browse through this system. Meanwhile, these are the controls for the audio system and to get voice commands as well, something known as, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?"
Engine data. There it does whatever I asked it to do. Now this is the stop start button, this is the engine start button, and the vents are so amazing. Okay, right now you see it's using the ambient light color. Now when I try to increase the temperature now, this thing actually changes color to red, which might not be so visible right now in the day, but when you reduce temperature it actually turns to blue. Yeah, you see that it's turned to blue, and then we're going to increase temperature, it turns to red. Really great attention to detail in this car. The air conditioning is an absolute chiller. Let's do one thing, let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera, and you've got two modes for the same, and every time you get into reverse now, that mirror actually reclines. Yeah, it reclines downwards and then it goes back into its position when you start moving ahead. So that again is a very cool feature. The car is loaded with a lot of stuff, but certain more features could, okay, there it's got back into place. Here I'm going to show it to you again. There you see it reclines like this, and then once you press it, once you get into drive again, forward, when you get into forward, it automatically gets back into position. So a lot of attention to detail in this car. Although certain features could have been added, like obviously ventilated seats and wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and probably I'm being greedy, so I might ask for even more features. The steering wheel gets a flat bottom treatment along with these red stitching. Red stitching is almost everywhere. It looks so premium, so nice. Seats are comfortable. The cabin feels nice, and compared to the older GLA, this has more space and more features, feels more premium as well, and has a slew of airbags. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get going. But before we get going, let me show you this lever, which is very functional. You know why? For the indicators, of course. for the wipers. This is for the rear wiper. I'm just going to use it right now. And there you see, the rear wiper is also very nice. But the front wipers, they spray so much water or soap or whatever you have put in the washer fluid and cleans the windscreen in no time at all. This is actually the lever for the gear selector. So right one is basically to decide which gear you want to be in. And this is obviously the paddle shifters. Now, I love this treatment on the steering wheel, which is very nice and premium, and everything feels so good to hold somehow. But let's do one thing, let's get into this car mode right away, and then you can straight away have a shortcut. It has connected car tech, so it shows 4G right there, but it's also got something known as themes. Yeah, here you can decide the theme, and based on the theme, you know, the whole display changes. That's so cool as well. And right now the car is turned off because stop start system. Yeah, let me do one thing, let me again turn on the theme as such. We're going to get into something like a trip. Okay, here into trip, and there it turns. Okay, trip means it's going to turn on the navigation. It also changes this mode and showing me this particular mode on the right side where there should be the tachometer. So plenty to play with in this car. In fact, if I make a video only on the screen, it would be like an hour-long video, but I've done a lot of videos on this particular new MBUX system. So let's do one thing, let's start driving right away. All right, we are all set to go. Long procedure today because first and foremost we're going to turn off the air conditioning off. Yep, we are going to get into sport mode. We are into sport mode, but I need to turn off ESP, which means I have to actually get inside settings, ESP off. Now we also want to see sport displays, which means I have to come into info, engine data. Actually, I can do it using voice commands as well. This is engine data. We get into drive mode, stop start system off. Yeah, it's actually off already. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off. Revving the motor, rev still around 2200, 400 RPM, and my goodness, this engine is so freaking punchy. Performance is absolutely lit because this is a 2-liter diesel engine. It produces 190 horsepower, 3800 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output is a colossal 400 Newton meters of torque, and there's a rumbler strip. Forget about that because you didn't even feel anything. Okay, 400 Newton meters of torque, which comes in at a rather low 1600 RPM and stays there till 2600 RPM. So yes, it is a wide torque band as such. Performance is mind-blowingly phenomenal because there is no lag as such. It immediately gets going, and the best part is that it just has so much grunt. The horn is lovely as well. In the mid-range, it's got really nice grunt, making a quick overtake no problem at all because the engine really pushes hard. In fact, it's got a stupendous low-end punch around 2000 RPM. It puts you back in the seat, and again, it does it once more around 3000 RPM. That is the level of performance from this engine. Sensational. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.3 seconds, which is actually 0.1 seconds faster than the 220d without the 4MATIC system, which is front-wheel drive. So yes, it offers good amount of traction. In fact, the funny thing is right now I have actually turned off traction control. Still no wheel spin on an aggressive launch. Press any of the paddles to get into manual mode. That doesn't have complete manual control of things. You can hear that motor a bit. Yeah, it's actually nice. Again, what you're going to do is we're going to change the display and get going. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Listen to this, okay? That's very quick, very quick indeed, very much fun. In fact, it's actually quicker than the BMW X1, I mean the diesel, by almost 0.6 seconds, making it blisteringly quick. Performance is really sensational. And you know what really aids this whole performance? Of course, the fantastic 8-speed dual clutch transmission, because it's so quick with shifts. It's like really fast. In fact, when you hit the red line around 4500 RPM, it really shifts so smooth, so quickly, you don't even realize when a shift has happened. That is a level of smoothness. Now, I have to admit, not all is rosy because unfortunately, you heard the downshift is absolutely crazy, the way it downshifts. With the speed and with the aggression, however, the motor is a bit vocal. At idle, you can hear a bit of the diesel clatter, and you can also feel some vibration on the floor of the car. But for the most part, the smoothness and the refinement is just excellent in this car. It's very refined a motor once you get past the mid-range, and then it has some amount of top end as well. So top end grunt also pretty nice. In fact, the top speed of this car 219 kilometers per hour. The funny part here is that the 220d with front wheel drive is actually 3 kilometers per hour faster at 222 kilometers per hour. I think the added weight of the 4MATIC system is reducing the weight of the top speed of this car, which is kind of funny. Who really cares about this 3 kilometers per hour? But the car will reach the double ton without any hesitation because that is the level of grunt. And you see, body roll is there, but the steering offers good amount of feel and feedback. Really nice feel from the steering wheel. In fact, it's got 5 drive modes. There's the eco mode, which is basically to save fuel. You don't even realize that you're trying to save fuel because eco mode is also so punchy. I don't know how much fuel you're going to save in that mode. There's comfort mode, which is good because the steering kind of feels light and the motor doesn't really, egg ahead fast and surprise you silly. There's a sport mode which you're driving right now. There's an individual mode as well, which I've configured right now to get into manual transmission mode, which some internal setting I've done, which is also pretty good, but there's a small problem with that. I'll tell you that later. And there's also an off-road mode, which is valid till 100 kilometers per hour. After that, you gets out of off-road mode. What it does, basically, it loosens the steering wheel a bit. And of course, it makes the ESP system change accordingly. So basically, all these systems, they change only 3 parameters. The engine, gearbox together probably. And of course, the ESP system and the steering wheel as well. And the steering feels lighter in comfort mode. It actually weighs up better in sport mode. But since it doesn't have adaptive dampers or air suspension, which obviously at this price point you would never expect it to have, there's no change in the way the ride quality is or even the handling much, because mainly the steering actually gets altered. Steering is a lovely unit, it's so direct, it's so fast, it's so responsive, it's really very nice. The steering wheel, I enjoy driving this car a lot. Yes, there's body roll to contend with, but because this is 4MATIC now, in sport mode, it can channel up to 30% power to the rear wheel. So yes, obviously it's a more front biased power delivery, but 30% power to the rear wheels means that understeer reduces to quite an extent. And talking about, understeer and all these parameters, the older GLA was a front wheel drive. I mean, 4MATIC options have always been available because globally you just can't sell an SUV with front wheel drive. However, compared to the older generation of the GLA, the new one has a lot of changes, like, they have revised the chassis, made it more firm, more taut, and more rigid. Of course, the car is longer, the wheelbase is longer, the track is also wider, and the suspension has been revised. They've also used a lot more aluminium around, unsprung mass of the vehicle to ensure that the car feels so much better to drive, and it does feel so good to drive. It really feels fast on its feet, aggressive, and then the brakes are also very sure-footed. Very impressive stopping power. I like how this GLA is able to stop dead in its track without any power. Obviously 4MATIC gives you the grip, and white tires also help its cause. So we're going to change the mode right away, and I'm going to get into individual mode, and I'm already manual on the gearbox. Unfortunately, it doesn't really help its cause. Here you see 2200 RPM and off we go. Come on. Almost revs till 4800 RPM, in this so-called manual mode, because unless and until it doesn't let me hold on to a gear. It's not manual mode, darling. This is not called manual mode. You have to let go, okay? Don't be a control freak, gearbox. Give me the control and let me do everything on my own. But paddle shifters are there, which actually helps you get into the high end of the rev range. And look at this go, 4600 RPM. Performance is very good, very good. I'm so impressed by this engine. You know what, I think I should put 12 lakhs more and get the GLA 35 AMG. Yeah, for 70 lakh rupees, Mercedes will sell you the GLA 35 AMG, which goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.1 seconds. You actually pay 3 lakhs more for the GLA 35 AMG when compared to the A35 AMG. But you know what, the A35 AMG is 0.3 seconds faster. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.8 seconds. But the diesel is also a blend of good economy, so this will return somewhere between 9 to 15 kilometers per liter depending purely on your driving style. Now, I haven't spoken about the ride quality of this car. Let me tell you, it rides really very well because they've just got the balance right. So the suspension doesn't show any movement as such, and there is no thud inside. Unless and until you go over a really bad pothole, you can feel something inside the cabin, but then the suspension becomes a little noisy as well over bad roads. But for the most part, the suspension is beautifully calibrated to offer a fantastic ride. Even the handling is very nice. The ride and handling balance of this car is just super duper awesome. I really like it. And direction changes, I kid you not, it really likes to change direction. Only thing is you have body roll, which you have to contend with. Now, there are 3 variants of the GLA on offer. Actually, if you put aside the fantastic GLA 35 AMG, there are 3 variants. There's the GLA 200 petrol and the GLA 220d front wheel drive and the GLA 220d 4MATIC, which I'm driving right now. The range actually starts at 51.82 lakhs for the base petrol on-road Mumbai. I can call it base petrol. It's basically the petrol engine. It's just one variant on offer. Now, the GLA the GLA which I'm driving right now, that one costs rupees 58 lakhs on-road Mumbai, and that's 3 lakhs premium over the front wheel drive version, which costs 55 lakhs on-road Mumbai, the 220d front wheel drive. Honestly, the front wheel drive version gets the job done because at 58 lakh rupees, it's a bit on the prices side. You might want to pay a little bit more and get the GLC, which is also fantastic. That's it. I think this car is a very well balanced all-rounder in a lot of ways. More spacious than before, drives better than before, punchy performance, handling is nice, ride is very good. Loads of features on offer. Could have offered slightly more features for sure. And the attention to detail is so massive. In fact, I kid you not, whenever you get inside the car and turn it on, the seat actually reclines like this. Yeah, it reclines a bit. So your chosen seat position then reclines forward when you turn off the car. So that attention to detail, really fantastic. Steering wheel is, I mean, you want to take a U-turn, no problem at all. That's the advantage of a small minimal footprint, because so easy to take a U-turn or drive this in traffic or drive it in the city or park and all these things. So there's something where this GLA I love the way it is so freaking grunty. This engine puts a massive smile on your face. That's what I'm telling you. No matter all these environmentalists come and ruin the cars, a diesel is a diesel is a diesel. I've said it a million times in the past few years. Nothing beats an oil burner because of the torque rush. Now there's another safety feature in this car which is known as, you guessed it right, of course, active brake assist. What it does is it applies brakes on its own in case it thinks you're going to collide with someone. So let's try that right now, which means I have to get into the setting right away, and we're going to come to comfort mode. Okay, we are right now in comfort mode. Things are a little smooth, more refined, and we are going to get into active brake assist, which is in settings. Here we are in settings, assistance, and yeah, active brake assist. We're going to make it early. All right, so you're going to try this feature. It says warning, brake application early. Thank you, rocket science. I didn't know that. Okay, we're going to get into this display, which is a full display. I love this display as well. The displays are done so well on this car. Mercedes does the best instrument cluster, period. There is no two ways about it. Now it's able to judge if you're going to go and hit a car or anyone for that matter, and then it's going to, you know, warn you. There's a triangle here, and then it's also able to automatically apply brakes. Yeah, it warns you like this, and then it automatically applies brakes too. It's a very nice system, and you know, it has evolved over time to ensure that it doesn't freak you out, because usually what happens mid-corner, it automatically brakes and you're like, oh my god, what's happening? But that's also a fantastic system in the GLA. Yeah, it works beautifully well on this car, and it works beautifully well on all Mercedes cars. So that's again a nice touch. The only touch which I don't like is that they have good cameras, but they don't have any parking sensors on the car. So there's no noise when you're trying to park and you're like, okay, now it's going to beep, now it's going to beep, now it's going to beep. Doesn't happen. Thankfully though, you can hire some person to sit inside the sit inside the boot and make noises like beep 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 beep. That's going to help the cause for sure. What we're going to do, we're going to stop, we're going to launch it aggressively again and see how it performs, because the performance is something I can keep talking about day in and day out. It is just so freaking good. Mercedes, I love this engine. I love this engine. I want to take this engine home. Can I remove the engine from the car and take it home and park it in my bedroom? Probably I can, but then I'm a sucker for 6-cylinder engines. Imagine a 6-cylinder engine in this GLA. It is there in the GLA 35 AMG.
AC लो, ब्रेक लो.
ब्रेक ऑटो ब्रेक करती है, मुझे ब्रेक लेने की जरूरत नहीं.
I mean to say from talk.
Oh.
But you're sweating like hell.